Okay, this video is going to describe how to do object-oriented programming in Raptor. If you don't feel like you have a decent grasp of what object-oriented programming is and what UML is, then please review those videos before you watch this video. For the purposes of this video, I am going to be doing program exercise 2 in the end of the chapter. You should also have watched video notes for program exercise 1, because I'm not going to do a lot of detail. I'm just going to be focusing on some of the new things in 2, specifically how to do a constructor. So when you want to get started with object-oriented programming in Raptor, if you have no idea what to do, you could try help, or you could try Googling, or you could go to the input section of the learning module. And in the input section of the learning module, you will find this document. And it begins by talking about data files, which we did in a previous learning module, so you're just going to skip that stuff. Good to review. And at the bottom of page 5, it starts talking about object-oriented mode. So this is what we're going to do in Raptor. We're going to go to object-oriented mode from the mode menu in the menu bar. Mode, there it is, object-oriented. When we add that, we get two things. We get a new symbol returned, and we get a tab called UML. And this is why it's important to understand UML before you try to do anything with Raptor, because if you understand it, it's going to be real easy and real nice to do, and if you don't, you're not going to know what's going on. So you can refer back to that help document, but I'm just going to walk you through it here. We're going to add a new class, and we've already done a UML diagram for car, so I'm going to refer to that. And we want the class name to be car. So when I do new class, I can then click on it so that it's selected, and click up here in the name to change it to car. I can hit enter or click out of there, and it's set. Now I need to add my fields. I need year model, and that's going to be an integer. So I'm going to come back into Raptor, and I would need to add a field. I'm going to double click right here and click on this guy right here for a new field, and I want to be year model. Again, this is going to be a lot easier because I've already spent the time thinking about the problem and I've made my UML diagram. That wasn't a waste of time. That's making this so much easier. The data type is an int, and it is going to be private. We do want our fields to be private. I'm going to close that. Well, actually, I could have left it open and just done another new one. The next one that I want to make is make. Oh, I want to make. All right, easy. And let me just move this over so I can switch back and forth easier. Make is going to be a string. It would be nice if it had anything in the drop down here for you, but we'll just give it a try by typing out the word string. I'll hit enter to make the change commit, and do new field again. And this one we want to be speed, and we do want that to be an integer, and we want it to be private. I'm going to hit enter. We are done making our fields. We are ready to make our methods. Now this is where there's something new. You might not have seen this in the video notes for 1, and it's not addressed very clearly in the help document. So we're going to do new constructor, car. Now remember, if I hadn't had to have one of these, it would have made one for me automatically. I wouldn't have needed to make one, but this program exercise wants us to make one. And it wants us to have it accept 2 arguments. It wants us to accept a year for the year model and car make for the car string that's going to end up being the make. So I'm going to add those here. Now remember, the UML diagram is a little bit different than the actual header, so you might need to review what a header looks like from that chapter. But we want to do int year. Remember, this word should be slightly different than your field name. I'm going to do a comma, I'm going to do string, and I called it car make. And it should be public, that's true, and we don't have an option for type because constructors are special. They don't have a return type. Well, I didn't have to hit close again, I could have just hit enter. And I'm done with that constructor. We also want methods for getting each of our fields. So I'll add those. I'm going to do it with this one, new method. I'll call it get year model. The type is what is returned. So what's going to be returned from your model is the data type of your model. So that's going to be an int. It's going to be public. I'm going to hit enter. Another method, get make. I'm doing a capital here because I want to name these methods using my standard naming conventions for functions, which is to start with a lowercase and capitalize the first letter of each additional word. Even though the field name make is with a lowercase, it doesn't matter here. And I don't really have to call it get either. It just makes sense. It's what it does. It gets this field. The type here is going to match the type of the data type that it's getting, which is string. And I want to get speed. That type is going to be int because that is the type of what I'm getting. That's the type of the field. And I want an accelerate and a break, which are going to be void. So I'm going to do new method. Accelerate, type is already void. That's fine, that's easy. Break, it's already void. We don't need to accept anything. What happened to accelerate? I seem to have lost it. Alright, I've got break and accelerate. I can move these up and down over here. You can sort them alphabetically. You can sort them by kind. But this matches the UML diagram that I came up with before, so I like it. When I'm done here, I've got a new tab. A new tab for the class name. And within this tab, I'm going to have tabs for each of my methods. Any method that has parameters is going to have something special. Here's car. Here are my parameters. Car, there's another tab here called car because car is the name of my constructor. And that's just how constructors work. They have the same name as the class name. And since this particular method had 2 parameters, I get them up here in my start symbol. And how I need these to work is I just want to pass along from the parameters, I want to pass those into my private member variables. So what comes into this method as year, I want to set to year model. And again, in a real program, you would do some kind of validation here, some kind of error checking to make sure that bad information did not get put into year model. But to make a simple example here, we're going to do, we're just going to pass it along. So I'm going to use an assignment symbol, and this is where it gets tricky, but this information is in that help document. You need to use the keyword this in Raptor to refer to the object. So we all want to do this dot year model. And you know you're doing good things in Raptor when you have some red down here. Whoops. When you have some red down here. You're on the right track. I want to set the member variable year model, which is a member of this object, to whatever got passed in, which is going to be held in this variable year. Year doesn't need this. You see it's in red. Everything's good. I'm going to do done. What else needs to happen? You have to refer back to the way that the program is supposed to work, is that oops, back here, the constructor accepts the year model and make as arguments. These values should be assigned to the object's year model and make fields, and the constructor should assign 0 to speed. So that's what I'm going to do. Another assignment operator, another assignment symbol. This dot make. Oops. To car make. And lastly, even though we're not getting it in as a parameter, we still want to set speed. Not to an argument, but just to 0. Now, we should be able to create a new car from this. But we still need to be able to get things. We need to, before we can test it, we need to be able to get stuff. And the way you get stuff, remember the pseudocode for getting something was just to return something. And what do we want to return from our year model? We want to return the field name. We want to return the field. And when we're referring to a field, we have to use this dot. We still have red, so we're doing good. Year model. We're going to do that for all 3 of these. We're going to return the make and the speed in these. And in accelerate, we're going to do an assignment to set this dot speed to this dot speed plus 5. And we're going to do something similar in brake. Now we're ready to test this.